Here we are, man. You're a motorcycle rider, you're a motorcycle rider. The other thing that I think about is, what do we learn from a wreck? Gear, dude. The most important aspect, in my opinion, of riding is the gear. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that want to sell expensive gear, but in all reality, most of the stuff I got, I bought off Amazon, eBay, mostly eBay. And it's been very good to me. I can't complain about it, that's for sure. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that I found after my wreck on my R1 is how important that gear is, and I always wear that gear, and I always did, because that's what we were taught in my beginner course years back, intermediate, bunch of courses, you know. I mean, they do tell you, hey, wear long sleeves, that kind of thing. And I get it, not everybody can afford a whole lot, neither can I, so I go where I get the best deals for the quality of the product. And some of it's not that great, but you find that out real quick. And then you can send it back to them and tell them, hey, you know, they'll give you your money back, give you a refund, which is pretty cool. And that's the biggest thing right there. But anyway, what I learned from my wreck in September on my R1 was how important my gear absolutely is, wearing it. Where did I learn that? My beginner course years back. So we sit back and say, oh man, you know, gear's not too cool. Wearing gear is cumbersome, but it really isn't. You just got to find gear that you like and that feels good, looks cool to you. Everybody's idea of cool is different. But for me, I can say this. I wore my gear and it saved me, man. My helmet, gloves, moto pants, moto boots. I had a wicked stock with armor underneath my shirt, which is long and it covered my entire arms, and it had the CE protection in it. No broken bones. I did get a head concussion, but you know, at 45, not like I wasn't expecting at the rate I was going that something wasn't going to happen, but still here to tell the story. Still riding, still enjoying life. These are my winter gloves. I have 3 sets of gloves. Summer, fall, winter. These are pretty much, I have fall ones, but these actually have heat in them, which makes it nice, especially in 50-degree weather. In any case, you know, when I watch YouTube and I watch these different people riding, like some of these women, man, they're like in yoga pants, tight. I like to call them spandex, because spandex is what they are. And you know, ride how you want. It doesn't matter to me, but it's like, I can tell they haven't wrecked. But I promise you, if they wreck in that attire, they're gonna regret it if they even get to talk about it. You know, the thing about a wreck and you hit your head, depending on how fast you're going, That takes a freaking toll. You better have a strong neck. I exercise my neck. I do neck exercises, always have. And it saves me from a lot of head stuff, but I tell you what, I can look at riders now more so even than before I wrecked and say, yeah, they haven't wrecked, which I hope nobody wrecks. I'm not saying I hope people wreck, not even close, man. That sucks. It hurts and it takes months to heal from that crash. It doesn't just heal right away in a couple weeks, you know. It's not a freaking stove burn or anything like that. But I'll tell you, what it does for me is it tells me, hey, wearing my gear, I may not live through a wreck, depending on how severe it is or how fast I'm going. But if I got 37% more chance of freaking living and surviving, that's what I want to do. I want to take that 37%, just like courses. Do they advance your skill much more than the other guy that doesn't take them? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? I mean, seriously. Life is already a gamble. And then to sit there and figure, oh, I'm not going to take the courses. I'm just going to do my thing. No gear. And then when you get smoked, then hey, you have to educate yourself on that. You have to educate yourself on what's real, man. And part of that is exactly what I'm saying. Coursework, practice, gear, it's important. Now, me, do I wear it all the time? Yeah, I actually do. I actually do wear my gear anytime I get on these beasts. Anytime I get on my FZ1, R1, well, I don't have the R1 anymore because they totaled it out, but I'll have another. I don't know if it'll be an R1, but it'll definitely be another sport bike. In any case, insurance ain't paying for it. That's the other lesson I learned. When you get a bike from somebody, make sure that they don't owe on it and they don't have it in their name. I insured this bike, and the reason why I say that is because it's kind of a pain. Because, you know, it's not a big deal if they gotta pay the bike off, but at the same time, it's just unnecessary paperwork. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of lessons to be learned when people wreck, and especially that was my first wreck, and it hurt. It was pretty wild. It was not a good thing, but it was a learning experience, and I learned quite a bit from it. And part of that learning theory is that you get to know basically what it takes and what it doesn't take as far as a wreck coming together and that kind of deal. So for me, I learned quite a bit from that wreck. The things that I got from that wreck were very simple, and it was my riding style, what I was doing, what I didn't know, what I do need to know. So, you know, the wearing the gear was awesome. I learned that. So I had my gear that did me good, and then the other aspect of that was real what happened. So some people relive it. Yeah, really relive it. But what I do is I acknowledge it. I acknowledge stepping on the back rear brake a little too hard, skidding, and then coming close to cars and having looked up ahead
not having the actual room to fully brake in time without causing another accident, or not only that, not having the room to literally maneuver in through, how do I say, like lane splitting or off to the right side, but going to the left. In any case, I did what I felt I had to do at that point, and I did it. And that's what I did. Wasn't something that just I had plenty of time to think about. And that's the other thing. When you're on these beasts, you don't get that luxury. You have to be on point, and that decision has to be made, and you have to follow through it. So it's kind of a follow through thing. Anyway, the lesson in that is what I need to practice more. Visualization, actually stepping through and contemplating the whole scenario as far as prior to it. What happened during the wreck, it doesn't matter, like the concussion, that kind of stuff, because that's just a culmination of everything that happens. The biggest thing is prior to it, and that's what I was looking at. Gear, what I was doing with my controls, my inputs, visualizing way ahead, which I did, but at 45, things close in pretty fast. And you know, if you practice emergency braking at 20, 25 miles an hour, you're stopping within 18 to 20 feet. That's pretty typical. 15, 16 if you're really pushing hard and you're actually using front brake alone. So the big thing for me is that I had my gear on. That's very important. I wear my gear. You know, no matter what, I wear my gear. I get on these beasts, I wear my gear. And I practice. I go to a parking lot and I practice U-turn, swerving, emergency braking, all that. Is it always going to pan out? Well, there you have it. Things come together, they culminate so fast, so quickly. It can just be the wrong input. Too fast on the grip, and even muscle memory. Even using muscle memory, you have your eyes forward, you're not looking. You hit the brake, rear brake, front brake, and maybe you 5% that front brake, but hit the rear brake too hard, locks that rear wheel up, and you start fishtailing. So those are things that I have to practice, that I have to work on, is utilizing that rear brake to the point where it's not locking up. And I've been practicing that. But again, people can say, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. And you only know what you would have done if you were actually there in that predicament. And so that being, you know, it's a matter for anybody to say, I would have done this, I would have done that. I wasn't recording that day. I haven't been recording for a while because I just really haven't felt like it. But in any case, the purpose of this video is to tell you these things culminate very quickly. Wearing the gear, people say dress for the slide, not the ride. Well, I dress for the ride. And that, to me, is my gear. Helmet, gloves, moto boots, moto pants, and the precautions that I need to take in order to maintain my safety if I should end up wrecking like I did on the 28th of September. But that's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you right now, it's not cheap. It isn't cheap at all. I think I was in the $30,000 range, and it's pretty wild, man. I'm just like, oh, crud. And I was in the hospital a day and a half, and because they had to do the CT stuff, make sure that my brain bleed wasn't expanding or whatnot, you know, that kind of thing. But because of my helmet, you know, it minimized the damage. Had I not been wearing a helmet, well, who's to say what could have happened then? But in all reality, guys, this video is to point out from my mistakes. And some people say the wise man, I've heard it said 2 different ways. Wise man learns from his mistakes. Well, the wise man learns from other people's mistakes. And I'm telling you, from my mistake, that practicing, and I've been practicing a lot for quite a few, I want to say several years now, consistently. And these things culminate so fast. And that's the other thing, is keeping yourself safe before those things happen. But when they do happen, and they happen, like I said, very fast, you have to make a decision and you have to go with it. And of course, what I mean by that is, hey, I seen to the left, I wasn't going to hit anybody, I was going to hit dirt, and I did hit dirt, and there was a big berm on the other side, which pretty much made me eat it. But in that event, could I have changed it at that to take a rep? Probably not, because again, it was dirt. I'm on a sport bike, that kind of thing. 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour that road was. I was going the speed limit. I wasn't speeding, I wasn't stunting. But again, the preparation of having my gear, having my gloves, having my Wicked Softwood CE protection for my upper body, my helmet, ECE 2206, and DOT. And if all you can afford is a DOT helmet, it's better than nothing. Moto boots, they didn't come off my feet, they stayed on my feet. I actually get the Velcro type. They're above the ankle. So, anyway, take it seriously when you're on these animals, man. When you're on these beasts of a bike, they're machines that are amazing. The inputs is what they're going to do, what you tell them to do. And if you get freaked out, you're not under control, you're going to get hurt even worse. So, that being said, yeah, dress accordingly. But to me, again, you know, to get YouTube likes and all that crap, I don't care about that. Honestly, I don't care if you like my videos or not. My main thing is, this is reality, and this is the real life scenarios that happen when you're riding. So for me, again, I'm out riding again because I'm not afraid of the machine. The machine did what it was supposed to do. I have to better myself in practice and become a better rider through constant practice, and to acknowledge that, hey, scenarios are going to happen really quick and I may get hurt. But that's the risks of riding the machine. But these machines are amazing, man, and they're just amazing. But I'd hope people don't wreck, just because I see you out there with no gear and tight spandex showing off your body parts, and that's up to you. I mean, that just tells me you haven't wrecked yet, and believe me, if you ride enough and you're a real rider, it could happen, and I hope it doesn't. But all the people out there who want to ride and enjoy it, and actually be enjoyable, and I know there's guys that have been riding with no helmet for many years, and that's cool. But again, to each his own. This is from my experience, and like I always say out there, be vigilant, practice,